you're doing well, and I hope you enjoy tagging along with me on this vlog. This week is going to be a really busy week for me. It's one of the busiest because we're starting April this week, and it's the first week of April is the wedding season, so I have a lot of wedding related things happening alongside my day job. So I have been working on creating a digital planner. It's very simple, it's on the PDF. It took me a couple weeks and I finally got it done. I am so excited because I felt like all the planners that I could find around, they weren't exactly what I was looking for. I pretty much just use Canva and just put together something that works for me. So I'm really happy about how it turned out. If you're interested, please tag along. I'll show you how I'm going to be planning this week for me. I don't know if you have any suggestions or tips. It's always appreciated. Let me show you my planner, how I created it, and we can set up this week. So I have a folder for the planner, and this is my Roth fillables. And so I made a copy on here on my desktop. This is the first page, just a monthly plan. I made it so that I could be able to reuse this for every month. I'll go to Google and I grab in the calendar for month of April for this year. I like mine to start on a Monday to Sunday because that's how it works for my brain, and Sunday is the last day so I can have a fresh start on Monday. That's the reason I wanted to create my own planner, because my brain works differently than I guess most people, so this is why. So next I wanted to go ahead and show you how I usually do this. I have this little tiny planner. It's just a notebook. It's very simple, line up, and then I just list everything in one place and then I start highlighting. That method works very well, but a week that is super busy like this week, I really need to have an organization plan. So I wanted to just walk you through to show you how I organized it. For the monthly plan, these are the tasks that I have going on for the month for the first week. And over here on weekly plans, I put all of the appointments with their times stamps here so I know what time they are, and under it I listed if I needed to do any work, any preparations for each one of them, so I listed them down here under it. For the weekly plan, whenever they're done I can check mark them and move on. And for the habit tracker, I know it's going to be a really busy week for me, so I don't want to have any expectations, so I probably won't get a chance to do any workouts, anything, just making it to my appointments. So I put studying Chinese because that's one thing that I want to do every single day. And then this is the yoga and just sitting on my mat and meditating. That makes me happy. And if I'm done with any of them, I can check mark like this so I can see if that work is done. That's pretty cool. But yeah, I really like how things have turned out, and I want to show you the final. But yeah, that's all I had and I wanted to share with you. Now that we have a plan, I can get started to get the actual work done. If you're doing well. Last time I spoke to you, we were on Sunday, and I was planning out my whole week, and I didn't get a chance to speak to you until now. Today is Thursday, so I wasn't able to film throughout the week because, like I said, it's been a really, really crazy week so far, and we're now towards the end of it where all the prep is done and the actual work is about to start. So today, Thursday, I will be heading out to a rehearsal soon. So this is a wedding that Josh is taking and it's entirely in film. So today is the rehearsal and tomorrow is an actual wedding day. Tonight, since it's gonna be a dinner and a night, he asked me to tag along and shoot some on digital for him because on the film you have to put a flash, and I wasn't sure if these old cameras can pull through, because on the actual wedding day they have hired a photographer for digital work, but not tonight. The digital photographer wouldn't be showing up. So just to be safe, and you never know with films, you wanted to make sure that the bride and groom have their wedding rehearsal also on digital, just in case if something happens with the films. So I'm supposed to be there at 6 and I'm finishing work at 5. Today I work from home. And right after this, I'm going to be packing up and leaving. So for that, I charge all of my batteries, so they're all good to go. I just have to pack my camera bag and we can get out of the house. It's an hour-long drive to get there. Tomorrow I have therapy, and also I saw an ad for another makeup artist that she was looking for help, and I was like, well, you know, I have some bandwidth this season, so I can help. So I have a phone call with her after my therapy to just talk details and see like what kind of clients she has and how can we work together. So I will be helping her with some of those jobs when they've come out. I really enjoy doing makeup for weddings because first you don't have to edit afterwards. Like, the work ends after you're completing, and it's so rewarding that you don't have to come home and worry about, okay, now I'm just gonna have to work through editing to provide them the results. The results literally leaves your table once they're done. But of course there's work also when you're doing makeup, all the prep work that you have to do and clean the brushes, and afterwards sanitize and do an inventory to making sure I have all the products. So that still has a lot of work too, but it's so refreshing that I don't have to edit. So I was like, okay, I'm available, I can help out. So Saturday, we're gonna be still doing the wedding makeup. I have done all of my brush sanitizations and I made my pouches. So yeah, that's that. And on Sunday, so I had a makeup trial, and she reached out this morning asking if we could reschedule that because it looks like she won't be able to come. She's coming from another city, and looks like their travel plan has changed. So that's good. At least it opens up my morning on Sunday. I still have my Chinese exam at 11:30, and then I have a senior portrait still to shoot. I'm going to be reaching out to her just to prep her. It's her first time probably shooting with a photographer, so I want to make sure she's comfortable. And I have a little tips and to-do list, so I'll go ahead and send that to her as well, so then that way she gets some info on how to prep for the shoot. So looking at my week, by the way, on my computer, looking at my week and the to-do list that I've created, I have to say that I've learned something. I'm overestimating my capabilities. I put study Chinese every day for 30 minutes. Obviously that didn't work. I had so much to do this week that it was not possible. So Wednesday I had my online class, and so I had some refresher, but other than that I didn't get a chance to study. But I'm hoping on Friday, once my job and my appointments are done, I would get a chance to do some studying, but I don't want to really pressure myself too much for that. And Saturday after my job is done, so I'll probably get home by 4 o'clock. And so I have the whole night to prep for it. So that's 2 days, so that should be good. These are the worst case scenarios, but I'm learning to underestimate and over deliver. That's what my new mentality is in setting up a week. So we're not going to be really going as far as I have gone. It's just not good planning. Cleaning the house, I did some, but I'm not done yet. Backing up the photo file, so that's for today. So I would say I have caught up to all except for my main goals as well. Maybe I get to do it today. I have to look at the tax tag work and also to see if I have any tag tickets. And I want to also look at my investments to do the investment done. I have to do it before April 15. And I know right now stock market is crazy with all of the changes that's happening politically, but I have made the decisions that I'm just not going to worry or think about it. I'm just going to do what I usually do and not to worry about it. You never know how to plan anything these days, so I'm not going to worry about it. So overall, this planner on the PDF that I created was very, very useful. I really feel well, honestly, for doing this. But I'm gonna have to keep working at it week after week, and I think I'm gonna be able to create a routine for myself to use it more effectively too. So yeah, but overall I'm really happy about it. So today I have 3 things to do. I'm gonna pack my bag for the rehearsal. I'm gonna check Texas tag work, see if there's any tickets for me to pay, and also I'm gonna do my Fidelity investments, and those are the 3 things I'm gonna do before heading out of the house. I want to show you my portfolio on what I have saved in the Fidelity. So I started last year in 2024. This is when I started getting worried about retirement. Before that, I didn't really know much about retirement. I've just been contributing my 401k through my jobs, but this is all on my own. So I was able to contribute $7,000. That's a cap every year. I believe it depends on your income, but for mine, I can contribute $7,000 every year. So I worked really hard to be able to save this money. It was not easy at all. I really had to make adjustments into my spending to be able to do this. And right now we're April 2025, so every month I have an automated contribution adding in, and then I have to come here and do the buy myself. I have been just honestly doing one thing, and it's right here. I've been buying from FXAIX, which is the Fidelity version of the 500 index, and that's all I have been doing. I read a whole bunch of books and I did the research that I could, and this is where I'm comfortable to just contribute, and that's the top 500 businesses in the US, I believe. And yeah, so you can see it's been going up, even though this month has been such an up and down, but over the 3 years cycle, you can see it goes up. It has dipped in here down there. So you can see as we get closer, you can see it's been dipping. But a long view of the year, it shows that it's been going up. So when I have contributed 7 and 1,000 here, so I have made 15. So it looks pretty good. So yeah, that's my retirement plan and what I'm doing. Yeah. For today, I'm thinking of wearing something super comfortable. I like wearing black because it doesn't leave any sweat marks, and when you're nervous and working a lot, that's something that I want to be comfortable doing. So just a black jeans, or it's kind of washed out black, so I would say grayish. And with this top, I'm gonna wear this belt, so to give it a little bit more character. So I am all packed up. My camera bag is all ready, and I'm gonna take this little bag, and in it I'm just carrying my basics, like a bottle of water, and I have a little hoodie just in case if it gets cold at the end of the night. I always take 1 extra clean underwear because you never know, it gets really sweaty and uncomfortable sometimes, that I want to have a pair of fresh undies. And I have this little bag. It came with the gym bag that one time I purchased. So it helps me because I can put my flashlight in it when I'm not using it, or my phone. It has a little bag up front, and here I have hand sanitizer, lip balm. I'm also having these little earplugs. If the music is too loud, sometimes DJs, oh my gosh, sometimes there's no standards when DJs are playing music. And then I have this thing, and it has allergy, vitamins, and pain. So all the essentials that I would need, you never know, especially right now in the springtime, I may need it. But yeah, so this is all. I am all packed and ready to go. This bag with this bag. So yeah, I'm gonna take you along. Probably won't be able to speak to you at all for the rest of the day, but I will update you the first chance I get. All right, wish me luck. Bye.
Catch the wind and fly away. I will go where you go, never wander alone. There's no time to waste, 'cause I can see that one by one the stars come out and the sky begins to glow with a feeling I've never known before. Through the high and low, nothing comes close. Nothing comes close to this. Nothing comes close. Nothing comes close to this. You take my breath away, and I have no words to say. I've opened up the gates with you, with you, with you.
So I just got back from my Chinese class, and my teacher decided she didn't want to take the exam, so she just handed out the paperwork and said you can go home, and it's going to be a take-home quiz. And I've been up early in the morning trying to study for it. I mean, I'm not going to complain, but at the same time, I wish I knew ahead of time so I didn't have to worry and stress so much over it. So that's another issue I've been having with this teacher. I mean, I really like her, but I feel like she's very disorganized. Anyways, so we didn't take any tests today, and it was fine. But some other thing that happened today, which was a great news, is that the weather turned out so cold. So we have a cold front coming, and I thought it was going to be spring and nice weather, and so did everyone else. But yesterday it's been really cold. It's like 40 degrees, and it feels like 30 something. So the senior poetry session that I had, so that got rescheduled for next week. So that means that today I am all free. And I want to just spend a day and relax because this weekend has been chaos. I didn't check back with you and tell you about the wedding that I worked. So I feel like my speed is not really great. And I took literally an hour per person, and I wish I could be faster. I really tried. But they were all so happy. They loved the makeup that I created for them, and they were the cutest, loveliest girls that I've ever worked with, and I loved it. I loved everything about that day. I'm sad that I don't have any other makeup job for a while. It really is something that I really passionately love doing. So let's go inside and we're just gonna relax today and enjoy the sudden change into my schedule. I love that when it happens.
Come and be with me. I am dust, and I am eternity. I long jealously, only just to be with you. So come and fade into the light. Join the other colors bright. Come and be with me. Oh, come ascend into the dark of night. Lose your pride and gain your sight. Come and be with me.
Wanted to fill you up a little bit on what happened after I came back from my Chinese class home. Josh also arrived from work, and he was like, hey, the weather is really nice, let's go out, because my photo shoot got canceled because of the weather. So he got us some Mexican snacks and we headed out to a park, and it was getting cold, but luckily by the time we got there was some sun, so we sat by the sun and I read a book, and he was just relaxing. And then afterwards we did some grocery shopping and he made us a meal. And I noticed I ordered a book from Amazon that arrived, and it's this book. This is Shahnameh by Ferdowsi. Publisher is Penguin Classics. The translation copy that I got is from Dick Davis. The reason why I bought this book is because I feel like I don't really know much about Persian literature. When I went to school in Iran, the school system was not really gearing towards understanding the historic, traditional Persian culture. It was mostly focused on what the government agendas were, which was to focus on the Islam and the religion and all the materials that goes with it. So unfortunately, I didn't really grow up understanding the poetry and literature the best that I wished I did. Some of my classmates, be lucky if you had parents that they were into literature, so you would learn the literature and poetry from them. Unfortunately, wasn't the case for me, so I feel like it's something that I want to conquer and read some of the best work of literature in Persian. However, with this one in particular, this book is an epic. And mythology is compared to like Greek Iliad and Odyssey, sort of. So it's quite old, and Iranians takes a lot of pride in this book. So the literal translation of the book means the books of the king. So Shah is the king, and Nameh means letter. And this is an English translation because, like I said, I don't think my Persian is good enough to be able to read the poetry by myself. I would need a lot of help, and I know that one day I will get into it, and I would love to be able to read this in the original language, but right now I want to learn the concepts, and that's important for me right now to understand the storyline. So I bought this English translation of it. Unfortunately, I can understand better in English than my first language Persian, which I'm very upset about, but that's the truth right now. I browsed a little bit through it today, and it's very easy to read. The translation is pretty good. It flows very well. seems to be a colloquial kind of the word choices is easily understood. I'd like to read some bits and pieces of it that I find interesting, if that's okay with you. I've seen some of your comments that you do like to learn about different cultures, so I hope this helps. So if you're interested, I'd say check it out. There's a lot of YouTube videos and information about this book. Like I said, it's an historical mythology. And if you are interested to learn about the origin, culture, and myth, this would be a really good one. I want to tell you a little bit about this author. He wrote this book after the Islamic invasion to Iran, and it's quite tragedy what has happened. It happened about 1,400 years ago. So after the Islamic invasion, any association with the old Persian culture has been banned. So people were forced not to speak in Persian. They were forced to speak in Arabic for 100 to 200 years. Same thing happens with Egypt, with Iraq. Majority of the countries that they were invaded by the Arabs was the same, and the libraries and the books have been burnt down. So this author, he took a lot of risk to his life. He spent 35 years gathering the old myths and colloquial fairy tales and stories of heroes and the mythology, and put it all into this book. And the Iranian takes a lot of pride because this book is in original Persian language and doesn't have any Arabic word or vocabularies. It's very pure, and it has helped to hold on to the language because Iranians kept reading it in their houses, and they saved their language from deteriorating and changing. Over the years, of course, there's been impacts, and the language has some Arabic words and vocabularies. Hopefully one day that can be washed out and the Persian language can go back to its original source fully. But there's a lot of credits to what this author has done. I believe he died in poverty, and he wasn't allowed to be buried into a cemetery because he never took the religion, never took the Islam. So he remained faithful to his original religion and culture of Iranian Persians. And so that's something very special about this. So you actually get to know the pure Persian culture by this book. So to give you a little idea, I'll read you a little bit about the first king. It says, the reign of Kumarth. What does the Persian poet say about the first man to seek the crown of world sovereignty? No one has any knowledge of those first days, unless he has heard tales passed down from father to son. This is what those tales tell. The first man to be king and to establish the ceremonies associated with the crown and throne was Kumarth. When he became lord of the world, he lived first in the mountains, where he established his throne, and he and his people dressed in leopard skins. It was he who first taught men about the preparation of food and clothing, which were new in the world at the time. Seated on his throne, as splendid as the sun, he reigned for 30 years. He was like a tall cypress tree, topped by the full moon, and the royal foreshore from him. All the animals of the world, wild and tame alike, reverently paid homage to him, bowing down before his throne, and their obedience increased his glory and good fortune. He had a handsome son who was wise and eager for fame. Like his father, his name was Siamak. And Kumarth loved him with all his heart. The sight of his son was the one thing in the world that made him happy. His love for the boy made him weep when he thought of his being separated. Siamak grew into a fine man. He had no enemies except for Ahriman, who was secretly jealous of his splendor and looked for ways to humble him. Ahriman had a son who was like a savage wolf. His fearless youth gathered an army together, spread seditions throughout the world, and prepared to attack the king. Kumarth was unaware of this machinations, but the angel Surush appeared before Siamak in the guise of the magical being swathed in a leopard skin and told him of the plot against his father. The prince's heart seethed with fury, and he gathered an army together. There was no armor at the time, and the prince dressed for the war in a leopard skin. The two armies met face to face, and Siamak strode forward to the attack. But the black demon sunk his claws into the prince's unprotected body and stretched the noble Siamak into the dust. When the king heard of his son's death, his world darkened with sorrow. He descended from the throne, weeping and beating his head and scorning his royal flesh in an agony of distress. His face was smeared with blood, his heart was in mourning, and his days were filled with sorrow. The army was arrayed before the king, and the cry of the grief went up from his ranks. Everyone wore blue as a sign of mourning. And all the animals, wild and tame alike, the birds of the air, gathered and made their way weeping and crying to the mountains. And the dust sent up to the throne of mourners, hovering the air above the king's court. The mourning for a year, until the glorious Rouge brought a message from God, saying, Humarth, weep no more, but be of sound mind again. Gather an army together and fight against this demon. The king turned his weeping face towards the heavens and prayed to the great God that evil strike those who think evil. Then he prepares to avenge the death of Siamak, neither sleeping at night nor pausing to eat in the day. The great Siamak had a son, Hushang, who acted as his grandfather's advisor. This splendid youth seemed compounded of intelligence and courtliness. Humarth lovingly brought him up as his own son because Hushang reminded him of Siamak, and he had eyes for no one else. When his heart was set on war and vengeance, he summoned Hushang and laid before him his plan and secrets. He said, I shall gather an army together and raise a cry of lamentations in the demon's ranks. You must command these warriors, since my days are numbered, and you must be the new leader. He gathered together fairies, leopards, and lions, savage wolves and fearless tigers, birds and domestic animals, and this army was led by the intrepid young prince. Humarth was in the rear, his grandson Hushang in the van. The black demon came fearlessly forward, and the dust of his forces rose into the heavens, but the king's fury and the wild animals' magnificence rendered the demon's claws harmless. When the two groups met, the demon was defeated by the animal. Like a lion, Hushang caught the black demon in his grip, cleaving his body into two, severing his monstrous head. He laid him low in the dust and flayed his wretched body of his skin. When Humarth had achieved the vengeance he desired, his days came to an end, and the world was deprived of his glory. You will not find another who has known the might of Humarth and his great throne. The world was his while he remains alive. He showed men how to prosper and how to thrive. But all this world is like a tale we hear, men's evil and the glory disappear. So with that, I'm going to close out this vlog. I hope you enjoyed this weekend with me, and I hope you're doing super well and you have a great rest of your day, wherever you are, whatever time of the day you're watching this, and I'll see you on the next vlog. Thank you again for spending your time with me.